All right, welcome back. Another maths video, number this time in key stage 4. So we are now going to be dealing with recurring decimals. Let's jump into the lesson. Now, before we get going, it's important I tell you a little bit about different types of recurring decimals. So the very first one I'll tell you about is when one number is recurring. So I might have something like 0.3 with a dot on top. That's the way we shorten numbers to say that it's recurring in maths. If you see a dot on top of a number, it means it's a recurring decimal. But that actually means that it's 0.333 and so on going to infinity, like that. Now we can have another type of recurring decimal where two numbers are recurring, but those two numbers are next to each other, like so. And if that's the case, you're going to have a recurring a dot over the first one and a dot over the next one. And that means that this is 0.121212 and so on going to infinity. Another type of recurring decimal is where you may have non-recurring numbers at the front and recurring numbers that comes after. So in this case, it's only the 3 that's recurring. And that means that this number would be 0.13333 going to infinity, like that. Okay, and one more type I'll tell you about. So there's only gonna ever be two dots for your recurring decimals. So you're going to have a dot on the first number and a dot on the last number. So even though it's 3 digits, we're not going to have 3 dots on this. Okay, so now what's going to happen with this one then? It means it's 0.131131 and so on, and that's how that number is recurring. Okay, good. Now that we've got that, we can jump into the lesson. So you're going to be given a recurring decimal and you need to change it to a fraction. Let's see the first one. On the first one, my dot is there, which means it's 0.3 recurring, which means it's one number recurring. If one number is recurring, I multiply by 10. If two numbers are recurring, I multiply by 100. If it's 3 numbers, 1,000. You get the general gist. So we're going to start first of all by saying let x equal to 0.3 recurring, like that, because one number is recurring. Actually, I want to make a slight little change because I want to show you something really cool, why we multiply by that. So 0.33, I'll do 3 3s and then I'll put the dot there because the 3s are going to carry on. So then I want to make it in such a way where I'm going to end up with a whole number. So to do that, I will multiply by 10. And if I multiply by 10, it means that 10x will equal to 3.33 recurring, like that. So I'm going to end up with loads of 3s going along the line. And so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to need to subtract these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my 10x, take away that 1x, so that's going to give me 9x. And I'm going to do my 3.333 recurring, take away 0.333 recurring. And exactly what I want to happen will happen here, because 3 take away 0, that's going to be 3, decimal place. And all of these recurring numbers, when I subtract them, I'm going to end up with loads of zeros, which is what I wanted. So it means that 9x is actually equal to 3. And then obviously, you know what's going to happen here. I'm going to divide both sides by 9 to say that x is equal to 3 over 9, which is a third. But we already knew that because we've seen 3 as a recurring decimal before. So this answer here is equal to a third. What if it's two numbers recurring? Because you might be asking yourself, hey, you've made the point already, Mr. RostyMaths. So why do we need to do 3 other questions? That's because I've got 3 other things happening in these questions. So obviously, if you get the point and you want to move on, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe below, and I'll see you on my next video. But if you want to see more, stick with me. Let's crack on. So now I've got 2 numbers recurring. So it means now I'm going to say, let's change color so we don't get them mixed up. So I'm going to say let x equal to 0.13 recurring. Now you already know that that's 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, and so on. This time, because I've got two numbers recurring, I will multiply by 100. And I'll show you why I'll multiply by 100 in just a moment. Let's do it first. So 100x is going to be equal to 13.13 recurring like that. Now, what if I made a mistake and rather than multiply by 100, I multiply by 10? Then what will happen to me is this. I will end up with 1.313 so on recurring. So it's just the 1 and the 3 that's recurring. And when I try to subtract that from 0.13 and so on, I will not get zeros on this side. And that is why you multiply by 100, because you want to line up your recurring numbers so that when you take away, you get 0 on the other side. Okay, good. Now, so let's get rid of all of that and then let's carry on with the question. So same as I did before, you know what's happening. So I'm not going to do this fancy bit of working out. I'm just going to get to the point because I find that quicker. I will now subtract 100x, take away x. So that's going to give me 99x. And when I do 13.13 take away that, all the recurring decimals would disappear and that will just give me 13. So then x is equal to 13 over 99. Now sometimes you might get situations where the exam question will say you prove that the recurring decimal is equal to this fraction. If they do and you get to an answer where you get something over 99 or whatever the case might be and it can be simplified, make sure you simplify it to get the fraction they have given you. Okay, all right, let's move on to the other type of question then. So this is the type where the dot is just over the 3. What do we do when that's the case? If you have a situation where it is just the one number that's recurring, again, it's only one number recurring, so multiply by 10. There's no getting away from this one. So I'm going to start by saying that x is equal to 0.13 and it's just the 3 that's recurring. So that means that 10x is going to be equal to 1.33 recurring like that. Now, you might be saying, well, everything doesn't become 0. That's okay. Don't rush it. I got something really cool to show you. So let's subtract it and see what will happen. So 10x take away that 1x, that's going to be 9x again. 1 take away 0, that's going to be 1. And then what happens here? 3 take away 1, that's going to be 2. But then all the other 3's that are recurring, they're going to cancel out and become 0. So now I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to divide by 9 here, divide by 9 there, and then x will equal to 1.2 over 9. Looks a bit messy. We don't like it. We like whole numbers. And to make it into whole numbers, you can just multiply it by 10. So if I multiply that by 10, this becomes 12 over 90. And that's done. Again, if you want to simplify it, please do. Otherwise, I'll just leave it. Anyway, so that's going to be 12 over 90 like that. All right. And finally, what do you do if you've got 3 numbers recurring? Now I've shown you up here, that's what that means. Okay, so 3 numbers are recurring. So again, you multiply by 1,000. So let's start with x first. X is equal to 0.131 recurring like that. And that means that 1,000x is going to be 131.131 recurring. Which is cool because when I take away, all my recurring decimals will go. So let's go into it and see that this becomes, taking it away, 999x is equal to 131. You know what's going to happen here. Divide by 999 and it's going to be 131 divided by 999. So this is now finished. So that's the end of the video, guys. Now, did you get it? Smash that like button And also don't forget to subscribe to let us know that you are there watching the videos. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video. Drop us a comment down below if you also will, just to let us know, would you've worked it out in a different way? Do you work it out in a different way? Tell us about it in the comments. But for now though, until I see you on the next one, peace.